Welcome back. Today I'm joined by Steve Parsons, who is the third president, for an update on what happened at the last meeting. Well, Steve, thank you so much for joining us. I love how festive you are.
Thanks a lot. This is my wife's doing.
Oh, well, I like it. So thank you for doing that because, obviously you are going to be on before the holidays. So we appreciate that. Thank you. So, a lot's been going on with the whole ballot thing and a variety of other things. So I'm just going to let you just jump right in.
Okay, good. I'll talk about the ballot initiative and the counting that's coming up on the 8th of January. We've extended out the time a few times that you know of in the past for people to get their ballots in. And the reason for that is people called us, a lot of people called us, said, I haven't received my ballot. What do I do? So we tried sending, in some cases, to people 3 and 4 replacement ballots. They said they didn't receive it. We went back to the inspector of elections. She said, I have checked with our post office in Danville, California. They are not handling the mail every day like this. Sometimes they're batching it, holding it, and then sending it. So there are numerous problems that we bumped into. So that being as it is, after we finished accepting the ballots, we have over 3,600 ballots that were received, and they will be counted. Right now, they're under the custody of the inspector of elections. So we don't know how the people voted, yes or no, whatever like that. So anything that was received after the cutoff time is held separate. So we don't know what's going to happen. So anyway, we just thought it'd be better to segregate them. And those ballots are also with the inspector of elections. We had no people involved with the processing and separating. It was all inspector of elections. Okay, so we had a high turnout, probably the highest they've ever had for any election or referendum. So we feel very good about that. No matter how the vote turns out, we as a board feel that people have been awakened to the fact that even though you're in retirement, you just can't let everything go automatic. You have to protect your retirement and be involved in what the processes are. Now, some people have said, this is such a sudden thing. Yes, it is a sudden thing, but we still gave people well over a month to research things, to look online, check out questions and answers, things like that. The opposition had their opportunities to come in, which they did. And so we feel that that's a pretty fair thing. In the case of insurance, we've been working this for well over a year, almost 2 years. And we couldn't bring anything forward on that until almost a month before, let's see, that would have been September, just a little bit before September, because we didn't know what the insurance rates were going to be. We didn't know what the industry was going to do. And there was no real inkling ahead of time as to what was going to happen, what was available. So we had to kind of wait to that point to kind of spring it, if you want to say, onto people. We're sorry for that, but there was no way of holding it back. So that's kind of the gist on the ballot initiative.
Right. Well, now tell me, so how will you get those ballots now? They're going to ship them to you, or how does that work?
The inspector of elections actually comes down on the 8th of January physically with a staff. They go through, they count them, and then they give us the results, which will take quite a bit of the day of the 8th. So we hope by the end of the day, we're going to have the count that we can release. We'll see how that works out. Only the inspector of elections knows how it's going to work.
Okay, and so then you'll make an announcement, a public announcement on the initiative and whether or not it is passed?
Oh, yes. All like that. We'll have many different little subtopics to talk about at the same time.
Okay. Now, I know that the insurance was a big discussion for many months, like you said, a year. And has it been resolved as of yet, or is there still additional information that is needed to move forward on that?
A lot of expertise we've got to gain. The VMS staff doesn't have expertise per se. We have Dan Yost, who's been kind of a mediary. There's been things that have been happening in the industry that we didn't know what was going on per se until the last second. But in the meantime, there's been a village-wide task force that's been created with United, GRF, and Third. We're participating there. And before this was created, Third has its own little task force that's going. We are still going to continue that line because we're the most at risk. In our CC&Rs, it talks about how much we have to have in coverage. The others don't have that provision in there, except under certain circumstances, which is not covered by your CC&R, they have to have so much coverage, and we're trying to figure out what that is. Right now, we don't know what that is. So there's a lot of unknowns still. We do have a consultant that's working with us, actually a couple of them right now. We are working with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac because they've been insistent in the past that we have full coverage. They have been inundated with requests for waivers, not only by us, but many other places. And it just seems unfair to community, the CIDs, the HOAs, and all like that, that all of a sudden this is sprung on us. We understand the insurance company's dilemma. We just don't think it's right for them to try to recoup all their losses over the past 10 years in 1 or 2 years. It's unfair.
Well,
So,
and those fires probably scared them as, you know, like, man, they had to dole out a lot of money, I think, for some of those fires and a variety of other things that were going on. However, you're right. It doesn't seem fair at all for the community. I guess that's the good, bad things of living in California. I mean, yay, your property went up, but bad, your insurance costs too.
insurance costs are going up too. Something about the major insurance companies that cover us, of which there are like 35 this year, 35 different policies. Several of these companies are worldwide companies. So when you look at State Farm, you look at some of the others, these are worldwide companies. So there's a whole laundry list of them. So not only are they putting up with things that happen in the United States, it's things that are happening around the world. So that's another factor that we think should be isolated because of our particular situation. Okay.
Exactly. You know, here's a question for you. What are the other retirement communities doing? I mean, I know we're one of the largest, but we've got Seal Beach, and then also there's one in Florida. Do they have the same issues?
Well, there are over 52 entities as big or bigger than we are.
Oh, I didn't know.
Nationwide. And all of them have been going through this. They've been scrambling to find insurance. Some have found the adequate insurance they need. A lot of them haven't, or a lot of them are saying, we're not paying the whole amount. It's just unfair. We can't do it. If we do it, we would have to have special assessments, or we would have to slow down a lot of programs we're doing, like in our case, take the money from that, put against insurance. That's not right either. So it's a mixed bag right now as to what's going to happen. But the whole village is still trying to gain more expertise. EMS is working beside us on this. And somewhere along the line, hopefully within about a year, we'll have pretty well nailed down what insurance companies are doing, what we can expect, and what we're going to put forward saying, this is what we're willing to do. We are not going over this. So it may come down to something like that. So people will be, our residents will be advised the best that we can do, what we find out, and then we'll just have to go from there.
All right. Well, gosh, thank you for working so hard on that. I know it's a collective effort, and hopefully you'll make some progress soon. So offline, we were talking about our malware attack and how it's been toying with our emails and a variety of other things. So how has it affected you guys?
Oh, significantly, especially in the, as our people put in requests to manner alterations into resales department when they're trying to sell something or get inspections or help with certain things. The malware locked up the historical data. And even worse than that, in the manner alterations area, it took away some of the things that they were working on locally. So now we've gotten the keys to get back into things. A lot of that has been restored in the last week, thanks to Chuck and his group. We have the malware group of people that are here. Microsoft has helped us. We have other people that are here going through forensics. The forensics are going to continue probably for several months until we find out exactly what has happened. The other thing is Chuck has had to go through every computer VNS has, completely scrub it down, move things to another area, find out if there's any malware in it, then reinstall it back. So that's coming along, but it's a long process. But back to the manor alterations department, we have been having special meetings recently. In fact, I just came off one this morning on what their situation is. We're getting some more staffing in there to help them out. But the projected time where they can be back up and running smoothly is probably going to be toward the end of January.
Wow.
So that's quite a few cases behind things like that. In the case of sales department or resales department, they're working overtime, have been working overtime. Normally they will have 30 packages in the queue. They've had over 62, and it seems to be climbing because people want to close before the end of the month.
Yeah.
The interest rates are low, they want to take advantage, but you can't just drop something on either department and expect to have something done in a week. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
So we are advising our people, don't expect that to happen. Get your things in, plan accordingly, and we'll work with you as best we can.
Okay.
So the resales department hopes to be back up on top of things and normal processing by the end of December. Remember though that is normally about 30 in the queue. There are still several more than the 30 in the queue at present.
Right.
So just to keep everybody aware, I know real estate agents want to know about that, especially the brokers when they're trying to close something. They need to know what to expect. So that's why we're trying to release this information.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the update on that. So this Saturday, we have the bulky item pickup is coming.
Correct. And at our board meeting on this last Tuesday, Siobhan announced that. And for anybody that has an oversized chair, they need something picked up like sofas, refrigerators, or whatever, you have to call resident services and tell them your address, what you got, so they can put it on the schedule for the trucks to go around and pick it up. If you just have it out there and they don't know about it, it's not going to be picked up. So then it's your responsibility to deal with it. So be sure you know about it. And if you don't know how to handle this, call resident services and we'll go from there.
All right. Well, perfect. Well, thank you so much for the update. I appreciate it. And I don't know if we'll be talking to you again before the end of the year. So happy holidays to you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. And we'll be right back after this.